The Sikosky S76C++ primary electrical system is a 28-volt DC system. The main components include two engine-mounted 200-amp DC starter generators. An external power receptacle is located on the right side of the helicopter, just above the right main landing gear door. A 24-volt battery is located on the left side electrical compartment in the nose. A generator control unit for each generator, a DC junction box or circuit breaker panel, and optional location for the battery are located in the electrical compartment behind the baggage compartment. The S76 has four sources of DC power, including two starter generators, a battery, and an external power receptacle. The number 1 left generator normally powers the number 1 primary bus, and the number 2 right generator normally provides power to the number 2 primary bus. The DC external power is routed through the bus tie contactor to power both primary buses plus the DC essential bus. There are 4 electrical switches located on the master switch panel that control the DC electrical system. 2 switches control the DC generators. The DC1 and DC2 switches are used to remove or connect the generators to the system. The switches also have a reset function in order to reactivate a generator if there was a momentary fault or overvoltage. Also located on the master switch panel is the battery switch. The switch has 2 positions marked on and off. Moving the switch to on connects the battery to the DC essential bus unless DC external power is in use. The off position disconnects the battery from the DC essential bus. The 2-position external power switch controls the external power connection to the helicopter. The on position connects the external power to the entire DC system except the battery bus. The battery cannot be charged with external power. The off position disconnects the external power from the DC system. The external power contactor prevents external power from energizing the DC system if one or more generators are online. The warning and caution messages related to DC system failures displayed on the IIDS screen include number 1 DC generator hot, number 2 DC generator hot, battery hot, number 1 DC generator, number 2 DC generator, battery off, bus tie open, essential volts low, battery feed. Circuit breakers that protect the number 1 and number 2 DC primary bus circuits are located on the upper circuit breaker panel on the flight control housing between the pilot's and co-pilot seats. The lower circuit breaker panel, located directly below the upper panel, contains circuit breakers for the consumers powered by the DC essential and the number 1 and number 2 AC buses. The DC Essential Bus Recovery System informs the pilot when the DC Essential Bus voltage drops below 24 plus or minus 1/2 volts with one or both DC generators operating. If a voltage drop occurs, the Essential Bus volts low and master caution lights illuminate along with the locator light above the Essential Bus Recovery switch. Critical electrical consumers will not function properly or will cease to function. The Essential Bus Recovery switch, usually located on the pilot side of the center pedestal, is a 3-position switch. The positions are on, off, and test. The switch should be left off during normal flight operation. In the event of an Essential Bus volts low indication, the Essential Bus Recovery switch should be turned on. The number 1 generator is disconnected from all loads, causing the number 1 DC generator caution light to illuminate. Additionally, the bus tie contactor is de-energized. This is indicated by the illumination of the bus tie open light. The number 2 generator is now connected directly to the DC essential bus. If the voltage from the number 2 generator is above 24 volts, the essential volt low light and the advisory light above the essential bus recovery switch extinguishes. The number 1 DC generator and bus tie open caution lights remain on while the number 2 generator powers the number 1 and number 2 DC primary and DC essential buses. The DC essential bus recovery system is disabled when the number 2 DC generator is offline. Before performing a test of the essential bus recovery system, the battery switch should be turned to off. When the essential bus recovery switch is held in the test position, a simulated low voltage at the DC essential bus causes the essential bus volts low caution and master caution lights to illuminate. Additionally, the amber essential bus recovery locator light illuminates. For a successful test, the lights extinguish when the essential bus recovery switch is released. The battery used in the Sikosky S76C++ is a 24-volt nickel-cadmium 44-amp-hour unit installed in either the left electrical compartment in the nose or in the aft equipment bay of the helicopter. The battery is intended for limited ground use when other sources of electrical power are not in use. The battery can also provide a second limited source of power in flight, but only for DC consumers that are connected to the battery bus and the DC essential bus. The bus tie contactor will be open. The battery bus is powered continuously, regardless of the position of the battery switch, so long as the charged battery is physically connected to the bus bar. Placing the battery switch to on causes the DC essential bus to be powered via the battery contactor. When the battery switch is moved to on, the battery contactor closes automatically and battery power energizes the DC essential bus. Note that both generator caution messages and the bus tie open message are now illuminated. Also, if equipped, the AC generator and the number 1 and number 2 inverter fail messages illuminate. Each engine employs a 200-amp starter generator. The units turn the engines using either battery or external power until the engines obtain operating speed. After the engines settle into idle speed, the generator control unit switches the operation of the starter generator over to the generator function. This is indicated by the DC generator caution light extinguishing when engine N1 attains 48 to 52%. When generator number 1 is placed online, the bus tie contactor closes, which allows the battery to be charged. Generator number 1 current is available to the number 2 primary bus via the number 2 generator contactor. As generator number 2 is placed online, its current flow replaces the current from the number 1 generator. Note that the number 2 DC generator caution message extinguished. The normal power distribution when the battery and both generators are online has the number 1 generator powering the number 1 DC primary bus and the number 2 generator powering the number 2 primary bus. The number 1 generator, at the rate of 28 volts, charges the battery as long as the battery switch is on or the battery is not overheated. The bus tie contactor activates automatically whenever either generator or external power is available to supply power to the essential DC bus. Another primary function of the bus tie contactor is to isolate the battery from the DC primary buses in the event that both generators fail. If this occurs, the bus tie contactor is open, illuminating the bus tie open caution message. The only buses powered will be the DC essential and battery buses for as long as the charge of the battery lasts. The helicopter may be powered by an external DC power source. The power receptacle is located above the right side main landing gear door. With a valid source of 28-volt external power connected to the electrical system, the DC external current is distributed through the DC buses except the battery bus as the external power switch is selected on. While external power is being used, the battery is automatically disconnected from the system. However, it is recommended that the battery switch be on during external power starts. This avoids sharp fluctuations of the cockpit indicators that can be created by some external power sources. The external power contactor prevents external power from energizing the DC system if at least one of the DC generators is online. Indications in the cockpit that external power is being utilized by the helicopter are: the DC essential bus is energized. The battery off caution message is illuminated. This means that the battery is isolated from all buses except the battery bus. The bus tie open caution message is extinguished. This indicates that the bus tie contactor is closed and routing power to the primary buses. A digital engine control unit, DECU, controls each engine's fuel system. When power is applied to the aircraft, the DECUs perform a self-test sequence, which requires about 15 seconds to complete. Do not attempt to start the engines before the test is completed. Doing so will abort the test and may create a DECU fault condition or allow degraded operation. Therefore, engine starts from external power are not recommended. Engine starting with external power may result in the DECU entering initial power-up self-test. Indications of this condition include DECU faults, loss of T5 and or N1 indications, and hung or hot starts. If any of the previous symptoms are observed while attempting an external powered engine start, abort the start immediately. Remove all electrical power from the helicopter and perform a start using battery power for the first engine and cross-side generator power for the second engine. When only battery power is selected, the battery bus and the essential bus are powered. The bus tie is open and the bus tie open caution message illuminates. Both DC generator caution messages illuminate. The AC system caution messages also illuminate. With either generator and the battery on, the selected generator powers all DC buses. The bus tie closes automatically and the bus tie open message extinguishes. The selected generator charges the battery. External power is isolated from the electrical system. If both generators are selected, generator number 1 powers the number 1 primary DC bus and the essential bus. Generator number 2 powers the number 2 primary DC bus. If the battery is selected on, generator number 1 will charge it. External power is isolated from the electrical system. Both DC generator caution messages and the bus tie open caution message are extinguished. When the external power switch is selected on, the generators must be offline, otherwise the external power contactor will not close. The bus tie closes automatically, the battery contactor opens, If a valid source of external power is connected, both primary buses and the essential bus are powered. The generator test panel provides a method to ensure that the generators will drop offline in case of a ground fault or overvoltage condition. The generator test panel is located on the lower part of the co-pilot's instrument panel. Placed on the generator test panel are two switches, one to test each generator. To test the generators, N1 RPM should be at idle or above. When either switch is held to the ground fault position for 5 seconds, the associated DC generator message should illuminate because the generator is now offline. Reset the generator by selecting Reset on the generator switch and then to the on position. Holding either switch to the overvolt position for 5 seconds causes the associated DC generator caution message to illuminate. This indicates the generator has gone offline from the induced overvoltage. The generator may be restored to operation by moving its switch to Reset, then to the on position. The red battery hot message will illuminate when the battery temperature, 63 degrees Celsius, 145 degrees Fahrenheit, or higher, causes the battery to automatically disconnect from the system. The battery off caution light also illuminates. The battery is isolated from all but the battery bus and will not be charged. If the battery off light does not illuminate when the battery hot light comes on, the pilot must turn the battery switch off to prevent the battery from being charged, and consequently, even more heat added. The battery hot message is inoperative when the battery is isolated from the system. The battery switch is off. As the battery temperature cools to below 52 degrees Celsius, 125 degrees Fahrenheit, both the battery off and the battery hot messages extinguish. If the battery switch has been left on during a battery overheat condition, the battery will automatically be reconnected to the system when the battery contactor closes. If a dual generator failure occurs during a battery overheat condition, the battery is automatically reconnected to the DC essential bus. The battery hot warning message remains illuminated. The battery off caution annunciator illuminates when the battery contactor is open and there is another source of DC power. Causes for illumination include: the battery switch is selected off, the battery is over 63 degrees Celsius, 145 degrees Fahrenheit, and the battery hot light is illuminated. The battery contactor failed. External power is connected. The DC generator light comes on when the respective generator has malfunctioned. If, for example, the number 1 generator contactor opens and the caution light illuminates, this would indicate that an irregular electrical condition caused the generator control unit to trip the contactor. The pilot action would be to attempt a generator reset. The DC generator caution message will also illuminate when the generator switch is selected off and the DC system is operating from another power source, specifically the other generator, battery, or from external power. The caution annunciators are connected to the number 1 and number 2 DC primary buses through a DC generator warning circuit breaker for each system. The bus tie open caution segment illuminates whenever an open circuit exists between the generators and the DC essential bus, or external power and the DC primary buses. Therefore, the bus tie open message illuminates when both DC generators are offline, or if the DC essential bus experiences a feeder fault. The caution is a normal indication when battery power is selected, energizing only the DC essential bus. Switching on certain DC equipment when the battery is the only source of DC power can sometimes cause the bus tie contactor to close momentarily. The bus tie open, door open, or other caution lights flashing may indicate this transient condition. Also, the instruments powered by the DC primary bus may flicker. If the essential bus volts low caution light illuminates, the DC essential bus voltage has dropped below 24 volts, while the number 2 DC primary bus is powered. The number 1 generator may be manually isolated from the DC essential bus by moving the switch to the on position. The bus tie open caution message illuminates, indicating that the bus tie contactor has opened and the number 2 generator energizes the DC essential bus. The essential bus volts low caution message and the locator light above the essential bus recovery switch extinguish. This indicates that the voltage at the DC essential bus is more than 24 volts.